Hi everyone, it's Eddie here from Rothai Cycling. Hope you're well. Today I wanted to just do a run through of my training for the week ahead, showing what I'll be doing online versus in real world. Give a quick overview of what I failed at or what I was good at last week within my training, and then after that I'll then detail and show Indievelo, the hub, how to use it, the user experience, and show some game footage and some of last week's live streams that I did as well. So strap yourselves in. Here we go. This week's training. Unknown to me, it's a recovery week. I should have been in better communication with my coach Brian around that. Last week was very difficult, which I can touch on in a couple of moments' time. But looking at the week ahead, it looks fairly good. A lot of Zone 1, Zone 2 efforts, a couple of big ones there on Saturday and Sunday. So I tend to do my structured training online or on an online platform Monday to Friday. Those are usually I need to hit some key numbers and some key goals within the structured plan, and it's easier for the bike trainer to control the power that I'm riding at. Now that's not to say that if it's a really nice day I might just pop on the bike and go out and do some real world cycling as well. You know, last week it was beautiful, so it was no excuse not to go out and, you know, have some fun on the road instead of killing myself inside a shed in 27-degree heat, which we're not used to here in Northern Ireland. But for the foreseeable now, this Monday to Friday is pretty much going to be me doing my structured training on Indievelo. So as you may have known from the last episode, I'm ditching Zwift for a whole month using exclusively Indievelo, and I'll be doing both my online training and my racing on there as well. And there's quite a lot of good races every day on Indievelo. But I'll be doing most of my races usually on a Friday evening, just because it suits my lifestyle a little bit more. So yeah, and then the Saturday and Sunday sessions, that's where they do the kind of usually the longer rides, anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, and that's when I normally go out first thing in the morning, around about 6 a.m. It just means I can go out, do the session that I need to do, come back home, and that's typically when the kids are getting up or just up, and I can help out with normal life as well, because hey, we're not all pro cyclists, right? So most of us are cycling, juggling job, juggling life, juggling wife. Well, not juggling wives, but you know, having a wife to deal with as well. So we can't just shut off and relax when the pros can do that. We've got other commitments in life to do as well. So usually when I do my training, it's first thing in the morning. It's also why I'm not part of a club, funnily enough. The times that the clubs go out just don't suit me at all. I'm normally back home by the time those guys are setting off. It doesn't mean that I haven't ridden with clubs. You know, I've done it before with my local club, the Dunloy club near where I live. And usually, if I'm out on the road, and a club's passing by, or if I'm coming up to a club, I'll join in for a while, because it's great to get in that draft and get dragged along for a while instead of killing yourself on your own. But hey, being out on your own makes for really good training as well. And you know what I'm going to do with the channel is do like an interview session as well, where I'll be interviewing my coach Brian McKinney, who will be talking about the structure plan he's given me and how it's going to help me achieve my goals in cycling. And we can dabble and touch on those topics of drafting and coaching on your own, or training on your own versus training within the group as well. So going back to last week, it was a bit of a mixed mash of success and failure. It was quite a hard week last week. The first session of the week was kind of super threshold. It was about three or four super threshold 10-minute sessions. So my threshold is 271. I should have been doing 278 for 10 minutes. Now, when I inputted my workout into Indievelo, for some reason, it was pushing my watts up by 30. So it meant it was asking me to push down 295 watts instead of 278. So there was a bit of a difference there, or sorry, maybe 20 watts. So my legs were just zapped by the end of the first 10-minute session. And I didn't really realise until 7 minutes into the first one, and then I lowered it down back in line with the numbers that I should have been doing. And then more at the end of the week, I've got some amber sessions there where I just didn't hit the time. And then Sunday, well, Sunday here in the UK was Father's Day, and I just didn't get out, which is quite unusual for me because normally Father's Day is one of the days where I go out, no questions asked. I can go out for as long as I want. But I was on driving duty the night before when me and my wife went to a friend's birthday party. We didn't get into late, so hey, such is life. I just didn't bother go out and spend time with my family, which was also good as well. And now we've got this recovery week coming up too, which is just fantastic. But this week's recovery week means that next week's either an FTP test or it's a really hard week. So I'll maybe have to get on the phone to Brian and maybe suss that out a little bit as well. So that's the training sorted out. Now what I'd like to do is go over to the actual Indievelo platform and give you guys an insight into what it looks like and what I feel about it and what my first impressions are so far. Okay, so first of all, when we log into the Indievelo site, we are presented with the login screen. You can see here that it has recorded my login credentials. You can see me, Eddie Ryce. You can see roughly how far I've cycled when I've been in Indievelo. You can see the meters I've climbed and also how many hours and minutes I have done as well. You've also got the option to create a new account or use an existing account, which is great for people who have got multiple Indievelo accounts in the same residence, or if you're perhaps, for a scenario, if you're staying at a friend's house who has the platform on a device as well, you can use it to log in via your account. So I'm going to click OK, go through into the main hub area. For some reason it just always defaults to the pace section, but I'm going to miss that for now. I'm going to go over to the left hand side here to ride. So ride is where you can pick the route that you want to do. There's many different routes. Some are rolling, some are flat, some are hilly. It's very similar to Zwift in that sense, except it's all contained in this one island. You can also just jump on and do a free ride, which is really cool as well. It means you don't have to be bothered about, picking a route. You can just jump on and ride to your heart's content. Turn left, turn right, as and when you desire, to do a bit of an explore and see what the island's all about and what it has as well. And then when you click on the different predefined routes, it will give you an overview of the route, and also above here it gives you a quick synopsis of it and also shows you what kind of telemetry is included in the ride as well, and some more details about the lead-in, lap, total meters of ascension and total distance as well. It's also giving you rough indication of wind speed and wind direction for the total amount of that route as well, which is pretty cool. Next one over is pace, which is very similar to pace partner in Zwift. You can knock yourself out here with as much power or as little power as you so wish as well. And the good thing as well is that it shows you all the different routes and whereabouts the particular pace partner is at currently. And one thing I will say is that the pacing on Zwift is a little bit more strict and accurate. So for example, if it was stating in Zwift it was 150 watts, you will be at 150 watts, plus or minus a couple, not many, and it's usually when you're on a climb. Now, compare that to Indievelo, the range is quite broad here, so from 105 to 125. And what I've tended to notice is that on these pace rides is that it's usually at the higher end, if not more. So for example, I was doing the Eddie Emerald, and most of the people or bots that were in that group were ranging from between 180 and 190 watts. Very few were down at 150. There's a few examples of me going down to that level and being pushed out the back. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these sessions as well. Next one is the training section. So this is where there's preloaded training on the platform, and you can see quite quickly if you want to do a quick free ride, 30 minutes, you can bang in there and do what you want. Pre-race warm-up, which is quite popular, I believe, in most of the racing scenarios that I've seen on Indievelo. We've also got some really cool over-unders, threshold 2s and 10s. The cool thing is as well, you can upload, as in other platforms, your own structured workout. So for example, if we scroll right down to the bottom, we can see here that there was my super threshold and also my 1 hour 20 minute endurance sessions. So how you get that is you download a fit or a Zwift file. There's a few other files that you can load into the system. You download that to your laptop or your device. You then locate the Indievelo workout folder in the My Documents section. And then when you next load up Indievelo, it will appear down there for you to choose. Very simple, very easy. And then on over we have Ryce. I've used it a couple of times to create a race and also take part in a race as well. It's quite good. There's usually at least a couple of races every day. You can see here the name of the event, the lap details of the event as well, and the distance and the telemetry and how the race is formulated. So is it a scratch race? Is it a time trial? Is it elimination or points? And then here we've got the ranking element. So is it unranked, or is it ranking on first over the line, or distance, or power, or whatnot? There's a whole plethora of options that people creating the races can put in there. And if we click on more for the one that I've clicked on there, you can see here, you can see what the profile is like. You can also see the route within the map. You can see the sign up details, and you can sign up there and then, or you can just let's race straight away if you're jumping on as well. So quite easy to understand, quite straightforward. And then challenges. Right now there are, I think, 2. There's the total distance travelled and hill climb. As you can see, I'm number 120 on total distance, and I'm not even showing on the hill climb, which hopefully by the end of this week might change. And you can break that down even further by people you follow globally, or break that down just to female as well. There will be an option later to create your own challenges and to promote them online as well. So we've got the profile section here. We've got the player profile. You can put in all the kind of body stats. My weight, yeah, don't laugh, 98, a bit porkly, but that will change hopefully by the end of the summer, and aiming to get that FTP up as well. Racing license. This is the part that really excites me, because the whole goal of Indievelo is to be the promotion of indoor cycling to an Olympic sport. So they take racing very seriously. And if you look and follow the founders of Indievelo, you can see they take it quite serious too. So you can update your license details, and this will be more prevalent in future races and the direction that Indievelo is looking to do as well. Active teams. So this is where you've got a list of teams that you're active with, or ones that you're part of that isn't, or ones that you're an active part of as well. So right now I'm part of the Indievelo Founders Club. I'm one of the people who have agreed to start early, and I pay for that subscription, and it means that I get access to early features and access to create a team and to put in my team's kit as well. So I'm looking forward to doing that and sharing a video on how that process works. Avatar display shows just the avatar on screen. There's a whole load of stuff you can do here already pre-built in there, and if you have your own team, your team kits will be on there as well. Frame choice is quite low at the moment. Yeah, you can change color and type of bike frame, but that's pretty much it. This is an area that I think we'll see much more progression in over the coming months, because people like this aspect. They like being able to ride the bike they've either got or an aspirational bike that they want. And you can see this bike quickly is quite an older model. It's got rim brakes, it's not integrated cockpit, it's quite dated looking, but hey, it's very similar to the bike I use. I'm a big fan of rim brakes, so I'm happy with that. But I know others out there in the world wouldn't be, and they'd be kind of nitpicking at this stuff as well. So just to bring it to your attention that this is what's here now, but there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline for that as well. And then next up, you've got follow friends, quite simple and easy. You can type in people and you can add them to be your friend. Simple as that, if you want friends, of course. Training zones, this is an area as well that I can see a bit of an improvement on, because right now there's a sliding scale of percentages where I would rather see a free text to put in your own power numbers based on what you know your power numbers to be. And a good example of that is that when I loaded up my structured training, Indievelo was asking me to do 25 watts more than what I should have been doing. So when I was doing a 10-minute super threshold session, my legs were sapped after like 6 minutes into the 10-minute session because of this reason. So yeah, that's an area for improvement, and I've raised that with the guys in Indievelo. So I'm sure they will sort that out as soon as possible. Connected accounts, right now there is only 2. We've got Strava and Intervals ICU. I don't even know what Intervals ICU is. I've never seen it, never played with it. I will investigate it a little bit more to educate myself. But currently right now I've connected my Strava account. Nothing more to say on that bar. It works seamlessly. You can see all the segments, you can see your route, you can see all the information that you would expect to see within a ride from an online platform. And then that will, once it's updated in Strava, it will update my training peaks, so on and so forth. Activity history, quite clear and easy to understand. You can see exactly what you've done, so you can review your previous activity. Event history, I haven't entered one. I did create one, but the issue I had was that I didn't understand the time zone that was being used in Indievelo, and I created the race thinking it was going to be at 6 a.m. and it turned out to be 4 a.m. and I missed the race. So, but look, with all the future videos, I'll be delving into that a little bit more and sharing my experience that with you. So look forward to those videos over the coming weeks. Ranking history. I haven't taken part in any events that would lead me to be part of these ranking histories. So obviously you've got ranking history for time trial, sprint, endurance, and climbing. So once I start doing some races, you'll see some stats and numbers appear on there as well. And then last by no means least, we have critical power. This only shows the critical power for all the sessions that you've done historically in Indievelo. It doesn't show critical power of stuff that's not in the platform, so just be aware of that as well. And then down at the bottom then we have some further details breaking down an overview of your estimated FTP based on the rides that you've done, estimated CP and W values, fastest speed, all those kind of things that some people might be interested in. So now what we're going to do is just go into Spectate. So this will give you an idea of the graphics. Now obviously you'll be limited to the graphics that are on my machine. So I'm using a gaming laptop which has got an RTX 350 graphics card, which is pretty good. You know, it's no slow beast. It's of a kind of average graphics card, but I think it's quite representative of the average person out there who's going to have some kind of PC or even a Mac to see that. So what we can see here is we are zooming on Lynn Proctor. We can see the speed that she's going at and others around her are going at as well. You can also see on the top right hand side here we've got kind of a bit of a breakdown of the draft. So as you cycle closer to the back of people, that draft bar goes green further up. You can see a map view of where you are in the island. We can also see wind speed and wind direction, and this is quite cool because, you know, having wind on a platform is quite unique to Indievelo. I haven't really seen it anywhere else. I've seen it a bit on RGT, but not to this extent, where in here on that top left, you just seen there's like a kind of white stripe, and just there, that's showing the kind of wind direction and where it is, so it gives you an indication of where the wind's actually coming from. And then in the middle, we've got heart rate, watts, and your cadence, your RPM on the pedals. And then in the top left-hand side, we've got the minutes that rider's been riding for. We've got the distance they've travelled. Next down is the altitude that they've gained, the speed they're going, and then their training stats, so their training stress score and how many calories they've burnt as well. So right now we've moved to Herman because the last person that we're on must have just stopped cycling on the platform and disappeared, so it defaulted to another person. And we can just go through the camera views ourselves. So this is camera view 2, camera 3, camera 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll leave this on a bit longer because it does a bit of a panning motion as well, which is pretty cool. We've got number 8, which is the helicopter view, which will pan or zoom in closer to the riders. And then last but not least, we have camera 9, which is typically the one I ride with, especially for races, because it allows me to see people around me, anticipate moves that are coming up, and yeah, I just find it easier to race in that view. Some may call it cheating, you know. I like to think I'm taking advantage of a particular feature that's in the platform. So I'll just go in and zoom into someone else. There's Louise. We can go to Sam Fletcher. Let's go back down to Lauren Stewart. And there we go. So it'll be interesting to see what people's comments are, what people's thoughts are on the platform. Do you like the graphics? How would you compare it to the platform that you use currently? I'd be very interested to hear that. So please drop your comments below. I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe for more video content. Hit that bell icon to be notified of the next video, which usually happens every Wednesday at 6 p.m.